And you guys always seem so happy.
Yeah, we're happy.
I married the right person.
Yeah.
Some Hollywood stars are born into the spotlight, but there are also those who must endure great loss before the light finds them. Kelly Preston belongs to the second group. When Kelly Preston is mentioned today, many remember the gentle woman always seen alongside John Travolta, one of Hollywood's most enduring marriages. But long before becoming an icon of elegance, Kelly was just a young girl growing up amidst unforeseen upheavals. Kelly Kamalelehua Smith was born on October 13, 1962, in Honolulu, Hawaii. From a very young age, life taught her about loss. When Kelly was only 3 years old, her biological father died in a drowning accident. It was a devastating event for a child who didn't yet fully understand the meaning of death. Later, her mother remarried Peter Palzis, who adopted Kelly and became the father figure for much of her childhood. Kelly's youth wasn't tied to a single homeland. Her family moved constantly between different countries. She lived in Iraq when she was just 5 years old, a truly unique experience for an American girl. Later, her family moved to Australia, where Kelly's life began to change in ways no one could have predicted. In her teens, Kelly possessed a natural beauty that was hard to ignore. A fashion photographer discovered her at age 16 and introduced her to the world of modeling, advertising, and film. It was Hollywood's first glimpse for the young girl from Hawaii. Her first major opportunity came early when Kelly auditioned for the film The Blue Lagoon. If she had won that role, her life could have taken a completely different turn. The film later made Brooke Shields a global phenomenon. But Kelly wasn't chosen. For many young people, that failure could be the end of a dream that had just begun. But Kelly Preston didn't give up. Instead of lamenting her fate, she returned to school, completed her studies, and continued to pursue acting seriously. She studied theater and drama in California, dedicating time to honing her skills instead of relying solely on her striking appearance. That's what made Kelly Preston special. Hollywood has many beautiful women, but Kelly didn't want to be just a fleeting pretty face. She wanted to be a real actress. And it was that perseverance that helped her take small steps into the entertainment industry throughout the early 1980s. There were no instant breakout roles. No film made her a superstar overnight. But each small role, each brief appearance on screen, was quietly building the foundation for a career that would last over 4 decades. Kelly didn't know that at the time. But those slow years, those initial setbacks, and those times when doors slammed shut in her face were what prepared her for the most important chapter of her life. A chapter that would bring fame, love, happiness, and even tragedies that would move millions when they looked back on her life. By the late 1980s, Kelly Preston was no longer a young girl trying to find her place in Hollywood. After years of persistently taking on small roles and constantly learning, she began to attract the attention of major studios. What was special about her was that Kelly didn't possess the dazzling aura of many stars of her time. She didn't appear in the newspapers because of shocking scandals or controversial statements. What people remembered her for was her radiant smile, natural charm, and a rare approachability for a Hollywood actress. In 1988, the first real turning point came when Kelly starred in the comedy Twins alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. The idea of 2 twins with completely opposite appearances sounded bizarre, but the film became a global box office phenomenon. The enormous revenue of Twins brought Kelly closer to the public and for the first time allowed her to feel the heat of commercial success. Although not the central character, she left a lasting impression with her unique charm that audiences found hard to forget. Her career success also brought about significant changes in her personal life. After her short first marriage ended, Kelly began dating a young, aspiring actor named George Clooney. At the time, No one could have imagined that he would later become one of the world's biggest stars. Their relationship was relatively peaceful and ended with mutual respect. But that was just the beginning of the emotional turmoil that followed. In the early 1990s, Kelly became engaged to Charlie Sheen, one of Hollywood's most famous and controversial names. However, the relationship quickly broke down after a terrifying incident where a gun accidentally discharged, injuring Kelly in the arm. Although she repeatedly claimed it was an accident, the incident marked the end of their romance. Once again, Kelly chose to move on without turning her personal pain into a story to attract public attention. And then fate intervened in a completely different form. In 1989, while working on the film The Experts, Kelly met John Travolta. At that time, Travolta was already a globally famous star, but what caught Kelly's attention wasn't his fame, but the sincerity and warmth behind the scenes. For his part, Travolta was almost instantly smitten. He later admitted that he knew Kelly was the special woman of his life. From conversations on set to subsequent meetings, their relationship developed rapidly. Just a few years later, Kelly Preston and John Travolta officially became engaged, opening a new chapter of happiness that no one expected would last nearly 3 decades amidst the turbulent world of Hollywood. When Kelly Preston married John Travolta in 1991, many in Hollywood believed it was just another celebrity marriage that would soon fall apart like countless others before. But time proved otherwise. Amidst the temptations and pressures of the industry, Kelly and John built something few stars achieve: a real family. Shortly after their wedding, they welcomed their first son, Jett Travolta. For Kelly, motherhood quickly became her top priority. While she continued acting, she always strived to balance her career and family. That's why Kelly never chased fame at all costs. While many of her contemporaries constantly graced the covers of entertainment magazines, she often chose to spend time with her husband and children. Kelly's career in the 1990s also entered its most stable phase. She consistently appeared in many hit films, such as Nothing to Lose, Addicted to Love, and especially Jerry Maguire in 1996. Although her role as Avery Bishop didn't have much screen time, the film became one of the most memorable works of the decade and helped Kelly maintain her appeal to audiences. Afterward, she continued to make her mark in For Love of the Game alongside Kevin Costner, showcasing her signature gentle yet emotionally rich acting style. Off-screen, Kelly's life seemed perfect. In 2000, she gave birth to her daughter, Ella Blue Travolta. The family of 4 often appeared together at public events, displaying a happy image that many admired. But behind those smiles were challenges that the public was largely unaware of. Jett, their eldest son, had numerous health problems since childhood. Kelly and John always tried to protect their child from media scrutiny, choosing to keep their family difficulties private rather than turning them into news stories. Then, on January 2nd, 2009, tragedy struck. During a family vacation in the Bahamas, Jett Travolta suffered a seizure and died after falling and hitting his head. He was only 16 years old. No words could adequately describe the pain Kelly and John experienced at that time. They not only lost their firstborn child, but also witnessed their private tragedy become global news in just a few hours. The following months were the darkest period of Kelly's life. The media relentlessly reported on the event, rumors spread everywhere, and some even tried to profit from their family's grief. But instead of giving up, Kelly chose to face the loss with remarkable composure. She rarely complained or publicly expressed her suffering. When speaking of Jett, she always spoke with the love of a mother, rather than the bitterness of someone who had lost a child. In 2010, a new ray of hope appeared when Kelly gave birth to her son, Benjamin. The boy's birth couldn't erase the void left by Jett, but it brought hope to the family after years of grief. And at that moment, Kelly Preston once again showed her incredible strength. She continued to live, continued to work, and continued to love her family, even though her heart carried a wound that would never fully heal. After the tragic loss of her son Jett, many thought Kelly Preston would gradually withdraw from the Hollywood spotlight to live a quieter life. But that wasn't how she dealt with her grief. Kelly continued to work, continued to care for her family, and continued to appear with the familiar smile that the public had always loved. On the outside, she remained the gentle, positive, and vibrant woman she was. Few knew that the biggest challenges in her life were still ahead. Throughout the 2010s, Kelly participated in various film and television projects. She appeared in films such as Old Dogs, Gotti, and many popular television shows. While her roles may no longer have garnered the same attention as during her peak, she never stopped doing what she loved. Colleagues often commented that Kelly always brought a warm atmosphere to the set. She wasn't the type of star who liked to be the center of attention. What people remember her for is her rare kindness and sincerity in a highly competitive industry. In 2018, Kelly Preston received a breast cancer diagnosis. It was devastating news for anyone, but true to her character, she decided to keep her battle private from the public. Only family, close friends, and her medical team knew what she was going through. Throughout her 2 years of treatment, Kelly tried to live as normally as possible. She completed her final film, continued to appear with her family, and didn't let the disease define her. On July 12, 2020, after 2 years of quiet struggle, Kelly Preston passed away at the age of 57. The news shocked Hollywood because almost no one knew she was ill. When announcing his wife's passing, John Travolta wrote that Kelly had fought incredibly bravely with the love and support of her family. Tributes quickly poured in from all over. Colleagues, friends, and fans mourn not only the loss of a talented actress, but also the loss of a truly remarkable person. Perhaps the most memorable thing about Kelly Preston doesn't lie in any particular role. She wasn't known for prestigious awards or box office records. Instead, she's remembered for the way she lived. She built a career spanning over 4 decades, overcame unimaginable losses, loved her family wholeheartedly, and maintained her kindness until her final days. In a world where fame often comes and goes quickly, Kelly Preston leaves behind something far more enduring: the memory of a strong, warm, and admirable woman. Perhaps that is the most beautiful legacy a person can leave behind after their passing.